2270 South Harvard Boulevard. For details and coverage, stay with KBLA Talk 1580.
I am black, beautiful, fly. I am somebody. I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through to make those rainbows in my mind. When I think of you sometime, and I want to spend some time with you, just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us. The sky, just the two of us, you and I. We look for love, no time for tears. Wasted water's all that is, and it don't make no flowers grow. Good things might come to those who wait, but not for those who wait too late. We gotta go for all we know, just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building them castles in the sky, just the two of us. You and I.
KBLA Talk 1580. Why do I feel a little shudder of dread going across my... That's wrong. Okay, I take a deep breath. It's time for Black Marriage Monday. Maybe it's because I'm no longer married and I feel like I am no authority on this subject. However, we can learn from the experts and we can do better when we know better, like Miles's Do Better Network. We're committed to doing Black Marriage Monday each and every month, the final Monday of the month, because we don't want to just lose sight of relationships. With all the politics and the flood the zone and the 12 kinds of crazy going on in Washington, we have to make sure that we have moments to focus on self-care and health, and moments to focus on interpersonal relationships and well-being, and a few other things, not constantly politics. That's why we do our Mindful Monday every Monday morning, to get ourselves centered for the week ahead. That is why we have Wealth Building Wednesday. We're going to get our entrepreneurship in. We just do these things. We put them on the calendar to make sure that we don't get caught up in a flooded zone, and always talking about things in reaction to what someone else did, in reaction to what Trump did today, in reaction to a disaster. Sometimes you got to be proactive, and that's what Black Marriage Monday is all about. Welcoming in a clinical psychologist. She's the director of behavioral health for Unicare Community Health Center Incorporated. She manages their behavioral health department, 13 different clinics. She has a small private practice focusing on pastoral leaders. Yes, indeed, she is the counselor to the pastors and their families, as well as those in the entertainment community. She is affectionately known as Dr. Gloria. Dr. Gloria Morrow joins us. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's great to hear your voice. Great to have you on. I was only half joking when I said I had sort of this little feeling of dread about today's show, because I think it's important to center successful, committed relationships, Black and otherwise. But I also am not modeling that in any way, shape, or form at the moment.
Well, look, we all have had our struggles, but we still know that there's resilience in Black love and Black marriage. So this is a great topic today.
Yeah, I mean, I made it for 15 years. That was not terrible, but we're no longer together. Earlier in the show, Dr. Melina Abdullah said she doesn't think she'll probably be in a long-term relationship. Maybe she will. She wrote a column called "Married to the Movement," and I think a lot of us believe that if we're serious about our careers, our work, our purpose in life, that we have to sacrifice intimate, romantic relationships. Do you see that in your
Yeah.
practice?
I'm seeing it probably more now than ever, where, especially for Black women who are saying, I've got another call on my life, so marriage is great or Black love is great, but I'm going to be okay with the path I'm on. And so I think that is a healthy perspective. However, I do want to caution people. Sometimes we make that decision because it's not coming easily or we haven't met that person.
Right.
So it's kind of easy to say, that's how I'm settling. So I think it's two things can be true at the same time. Yes, it's wonderful when you found your purpose and you're walking in it and not feeling depressed and out of sorts because you're not in a relationship. But don't use that to hide from life because it hasn't happened for you. You can still want to have it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a little trap there, right? The trap is that independent or so-called strong, and I say so-called strong because I think the strong Black woman has become a bit of a stereotype. That strong or independent women don't need a man. I don't need a man. And I feel like there's a trap there because for me, well, doesn't matter if I need or want one. I still like to, I'd still like to be in a relationship. I told Dr. Abdullah when it comes to long-term committed relationship, I'm on team Jesse Jackson. Keep hope alive.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's very good and a healthy perspective because, like you say, there's a trap in there when we kind of convince ourselves that we don't need something, and it may be because we haven't had it, so we've just kind of given up on it, and it hasn't happened in the timeline that we think it should happen. So it's okay for us to keep hope alive. And you mentioned my practice. Most of the people in my practice are in there because they're feeling lonely and in despair because they aren't in a relationship. So I think, that it's bigger than we know in terms of, because we're still shaped by social comparison. And when we look at the internet and we see people getting engaged and we see people going off to have a wonderful night and all of that, it still affects a lot of people where they feel like, I'm just not as good as this other person because I don't have somebody in my life. So I think that's a trap too, because sometimes what we're looking at, it may not be all that it's cracked up to be. It just looks good on social media because we can make anything look good. But in actuality, we don't know what those folks are going through. So we're looking at that, and then we're looking at what society says is acceptable. We're looking at Valentine's Day. How looking at all these different things and judging ourselves based on our circumstances, and that is a trap.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is this saying how the saying goes? Is it comparison is the thief of joy? Is that the saying? In any case, I know comparison is not healthy.
It is not. Dominique, I have a book that I just put out at the end of the year called A Brand New You, Becoming a Brand New You. And one of the chapters is about the trap of social comparison and how it's not accurate. It makes us feel bad. It makes us constantly compare ourselves to what isn't really real. And so I think it's a real trap for us.
Yeah, I think so too. And I try not to be mad at the Cardi B's of the world who go on. I like Cardi B, but she goes on Instagram and shows a room flooded with 10,000 red roses that Stefan Diggs supposedly got for her, or we see, who was it? Was it Ciara that just got a Rolls Royce from her man or a Bentley from her man, and we see that and we think, gosh, my guy won't even buy me El Pollo Loco, and we feel less than. But we don't know what their situation is. She could have bought herself those roses. Her publicist could have bought her those roses, or maybe he did.
Yes.
But the guy got 25 baby mamas, and
That's right.
and and one of them shows up to the Super Bowl. Now y'all broke up. I mean, it's. We
Yeah.
don't know what we don't know, but it's hard to keep that in perspective.
Yes, it is, but we have to work on that because you're absolutely correct. We don't know if she's getting the crap beat out of her. We don't know if a week later we'll hear something else. We will hear something else in the news about their relationship ending. So it's so good for us to, number one, just be truthful with ourselves. If you want a relationship, great. If you don't want one, great. But let it be because it's authentically you,
That's so funny because it's, we always worried about our man or woman lying to us, and we forget to check in with whether or not we are lying to ourselves. Speaking of Jesse Jackson, we are honoring him this Friday. It's time to gather and give honor where honor is due. So KBLA Talk 1580 is inviting you. You don't have to register. Just show up, bring a friend. It's an historic evening. We're going to celebrate the life, the legacy, and the unwavering service of a true American icon, the Reverend Jesse Jackson Senior. That is taking place Friday at 7 p.m. at the historic First AME Church, 2270 South Harvard Boulevard in Los Angeles. And I will love to see you there. Look, the doors are going to open early, so come early, come prepared to be inspired. Tavis is going to have an incredible group of speakers, and we are going to do our thing. There are many services in Chicago and on the East Coast for Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr., but we're going to show up and turn out in Los Angeles, and you are invited. So that's coming up Friday. Yes, I know, Thursday is our Black History Month luncheon with the comics. Friday, we're stepping up for Jesse Jackson Sr., and we pray you'll join us there as well. Yep, it's a Black Marriage Monday. Yep, we've got a lot to talk about. KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
For 70 years, the Humane Society of the United States has worked to end animal cruelty. Now, we're continuing that mission as Humane World for Animals, because we work around the globe to care for animals who are suffering today. And we tackle the root causes of cruelty for a kinder tomorrow. We are Humane World for Animals, and together, we can make a difference. Help make change for animals. Visit humaneworld.org.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
We got to laugh the pain away.
Hey, KBLA delegation, happy Black History Month. Around here, we celebrate our culture, our community, and our contributions daily. But this year, as we observe the 100th anniversary of Black History Month celebrations, we're excited about our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, honoring comedy greats. On Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum in downtown LA, we're toasting D.L. Hughley, Melanie Camacho, Earthquake, Munell, Dion Cole, and Martin Lawrence with a surprise guest appearance. A limited number of individual tickets for the luncheon remain, so now would be a good time to head to KBLA1580.com to secure one for yourself. That's KBLA1580.com. A little laughter goes a long way, especially in times like these. So come, join us for our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, Thursday, February 26th 26th at the Grammy Museum. Again, tickets are available right now at KBLA1580.com.
I hang around my boy. He been married for 6 years. Videotaping his wedding day, never watched it. Now and every day he watch it every day, but he watch it in reverse. Because he said he loves seeing himself take that ring back off of that finger. Walking back down the aisle, just waving at her ugly mother down the church. Getting back in the limo, back at the bachelor party. Look how happy I was.
KBLA Talk 1580 thanks LA City Council members Curran D. Price Jr. and Heather Hutt for being the presenting sponsors at this year's Black History Month luncheon. Honoring excellence, resilience, and achievement, we're KBLA Talk 1580.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like nuclear reactor safety expert.
I disabled the backup cooling system. It was making such an annoying noise. You heard it, right? It was like,
We're on a countdown to core failure.
And you're saying we don't want that?
This is the time for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
This Friday night, KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to gather with us as we honor a legend. Join us at 7 p.m. at the historic First AME Church for a celebration of life for the Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr., civil rights leader and tireless champion for justice. For decades, Reverend Jackson stood on the front lines of change, fighting for voting rights, economic opportunity, and equality for all. Now the community comes together to reflect, to remember, and to celebrate a life that helped shape a nation. Music, prayer, powerful tributes. That's this Friday, February 27th at First AME Church in Los Angeles, 2270 South Harvard Boulevard. For details and coverage, stay with KBLA Talk 1580.
I am black, beautiful, proud.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, you're also waking up with Dr. Gloria, as she's affectionately known, Gloria Morrow. She is an author, got several books. One's called Too Broken to Be Fixed, A Spiritual Guide to Inner Healing, Strengthening the Ties That Bind, A Guide to a Healthy Marriage, Keeping It Real, 7 Steps Towards a Healthier You, The Things That Make Men Cry, and more. As you can tell, she's not new to this topic. And we're talking about Black Marriage Monday. What does it take to build a healthy marriage, keep one, and the resilience that she talked about? How do we build on that? This is for people who are already in long-term committed relationships or traditional marriages, but also those of us who strive to be there, to have that in our lives at some point, whether it's a marriage or just a long-term committed relationship. You said that in your practice you do hear people saying that they don't need a relationship or don't want a relationship. Sometimes we're lying to ourselves. I think that this idea of I don't need a man is problematic because it frames relationships also in terms of a survival skill. Like, I only got a husband or a boyfriend so I could survive, but hopefully there's more to it than that. There's something about thriving and leveling our lives up, not just, can I pay my bills or can I find something to do on Saturday night?
Mm-hmm. And I also think, we just aren't, I don't believe we're really meant to be alone. I think that there are times that we enjoy our solitude when you really learn who you are and you begin to love yourself and you can nurture those moments that you're spending time with you. Even within a relationship, we should have sometimes that it's just okay to be alone. But to feel lonely is something that can affect our mental health. When we see a lot of people talking about, feeling depressed and sad, sometimes it's because of loneliness or not having companionship of any kind. So whether it's a male-female relationship, whether it's a female-female, male-male relationship, or whether it's your girls or your guys, just your buddies, and if we don't have good, healthy relationships, there can be that sense of aloneness and loneliness that can affect one's mental health. So I don't think we were designed to not have relationships and be in them.
I mean, you included friendships in that lineup, which hopefully most of us have. But are you saying that when men or women say, I don't need a love relationship, I don't need a man or woman in the sense of a romantic partner, that might not be true? Like, you don't believe them when they say that? Or
well, I think I think some people say that and they're not really being honest with themselves. Now, will I hear people say, I don't need anybody to make me feel okay. Now, that's a different thing, because I do think we should be working to take care of ourselves, to discover our gifts and talents, skills and abilities, and find a purpose that we're, walking in, because then that gives us a sense of satisfaction within ourselves, so that when we are in a relationship or wanting a relationship, it's not out of desperation.
Right.
So that I'm being careful in the choices I make. I'm not going to just settle for a pair of breeches or a dress. I'm going to be thoughtful in this process, because basically I don't need that to survive. I don't need that for me to feel whole.
Yeah.
So that's a different thing. And I teach people all the time that we should be developing our inner core and our own self-worth, so that we can do things while we're waiting. If you want to be in a relationship, you'll never be in one if you're sitting at home all the time. So what are you doing while you're waiting?
You might have to say that again. So Kwamel says, I'd like to see the black man ask the same thing. Have the brothers given up on black love? Or are we just seen as wanting sex or someone to wait on us hand and foot? Black men aren't talked to this way, but I have a feeling you probably get a different perspective as their therapist. Do you think black men have given up on love and they're just all about transactional, sex in a basically a waitress / housekeeper / secretary?
Ooh-wee. I think that's a very complicated idea. Here's what I know about men, and, I have written the books, The Things That Make Men Cry, the first and second edition. And I do think men love and can love hard. But I do think love is complicated for men in today's society. I do believe that sometimes a male ego can prevent him from being okay with a successful woman, or can prevent him from handling the conflict that women can typically handle a little differently than men do. So, for example, when a man is dealing with conflict with a woman and he kind of shuts down and she can keep going, she's going to keep talking and trying to keep, reasoning it out and doing all that. Well, he doesn't have the mental resources for that and the emotional resources. So he will give up on that, and it will make it appear that he doesn't care, or he doesn't love you, or he is not present. But he just doesn't have the mental capacity in terms of the strength to engage in all of that. So it will make it appear as though men don't care. We also have another myth about men, that they feel like they can get their cake and eat it too. There are so many women, so they can just go from one woman to the next woman. In some cases, that may be the case. But I talk to men who are crying because their love relationships are not intact, and because they want to be in a good, healthy relationship, but it hasn't happened for them too. So I think it's a complicated topic, and I think because we tend to demonize men, sometimes we can see them as not needing this love that we all want to have. because they have so many options.
Yeah, that's true, because that's pounded into our heads on social media. I mean, the Kevin Samuels of the world, if you're over 35 and you're not married, then you're a leftover woman, women, I don't know, I think Don Lemon got in trouble for that, saying that we when we're past 35 or 40, we're past our prime, no one wants us. And then the other narrative is that there's way more women than there are men, so you have to settle, or there's no one out there for you. And I always say, well, you only need one. I don't need all men. I don't need all men. I don't need a statistic or a category. I just need, the one that I need or want.
Yes. That's right.
But it sounds like what you're saying is that's even a little stereotype too, that even though the numbers may pan out that way, it doesn't necessarily mean that every man has the type of women that he's looking for, or the folks that would be compatible with him are not necessarily lined up around the block, and men sometimes have just as much of a hard time finding their person as we do.
Yes, I do think it is much more complicated than we've made it, because it appears very lopsided when we look at it. I just think that this whole love game is complicated, and we have to be healthy ourselves in order to be in a healthy relationship with anybody. So I think those are the messages that we need to start promoting. Be healthy, because when you're healthier with good mental health, you're going to make better decisions. And I think a lot of relationships and marriages are destroyed because people are not healthy and they are not making the best decisions in their mate selection and the things that they're doing within that relationship.
Dr. Gloria, a.k.a. Dr. Gloria Morrow, is my guest. We've got news, traffic, and sports, then more, only right here.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Texas Republicans say the University of Texas is skirting the state's DEI ban by renaming its Assistant Dean of Equity Initiatives instead of eliminating the role.
Instead of getting rid of DEI, they're just shuffling people around.
That's State Representative Brian Harrison. Melissa Taylor was reassigned as Vice Provost for Strategic Initiatives, a move GOP lawmakers say still enables DEI-style policies. HUD plans to end housing assistance for mixed immigration status families. The agency says nearly 200,000 tenants have incomplete eligibility records and estimate about 24,000 undocumented immigrants benefit from HUD programs. And the Secret Service will start giving new protective detail agents two tailored Navy suits after Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem complained about how agents were dressed. CNN reports the taxpayer-funded suits will be U.S.-made and issued after training. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Visit the new Hard Rock Casino Tejon for the Kilo of Gold giveaway. Drawings every Thursday in February. Visit Hard Rock Casino Tejon, the easiest drive from downtown LA. The excitement starts here at the new Hard Rock Casino Tejon.
Is this the Tejon? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It was a tough day Sunday for both of LA's NBA teams. The Lakers lost by 22 at home to Boston. The Clippers lost by 2 at home to the Orlando Magic. Benedict Mathurin almost made a three-pointer at the buzzer that would have won it for the Clippers. The loss spoiled a great performance from Kawhi Leonard, 37 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 steals. The Lakers had LeBron, Luka Doncic, and Austin Reeves in the lineup, but the offense was still shaky. Boston's bench outscored the Lakers' bench 45-25. Congratulations to the UCLA women's basketball team. UCLA clinched the Big Ten Conference title Sunday with an 80-60 win over Wisconsin. 19 points and 14 rebounds for Lauren Betts. The Bruins have won 21 straight. If they beat USC next Sunday, they'll be the first Big Ten team to have an undefeated regular season since Maryland did it in 2015. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
My name is Tyrone Owens, and this is my home for 23 years that burned in the fire. Me and my wife, Charlene, we had this whole yard decorated every year.
This was the house that sparkled throughout the entire neighborhood on all the holidays. It's a community that will never be the same due to the negligence of a utility company. So I am pretty upset about that.
We were nowhere near being able to rebuild with our insurance. It's going to cost $1 million to put your house back up.
I want to get back to that point where we were before the fire. I'm starting to get emotional, but I'll work through it. LA Fire Justice has been wonderful for us. They're just caring people. I mean, we have all faith in them.
Big ups to LA Fire Justice, who's given us hope to rebuild 100%.
Advertisement. Douglas Foster, 221 East Walnut Street, Suite 100, Pasadena, California, 91101 is the attorney responsible for this ad.
LA Fire Justice is proud to sponsor Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message. Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I have some news. The room is full. Our founding members cohort on the art of conversation has begun, and I could not be more energized by the professionals who said yes to mastering the craft. Their dedication to curating great conversations reminds me why I do this work. Now, if you wanted to join us and did not make it in time, I want you to hear this. The next cohort is coming. I do not have the firm dates yet, but I do have a waiting list. And everyone on that list will receive early access and special discounts when enrollment opens. After almost 40 years of interviewing world leaders and cultural icons, I am teaching everything I know. Don't miss your chance to be in the next room. Go to TavishTalks.com and get on the waiting list right now. That's TavishTalks.com. The conversation continues. Will you be part of it?
Yeah, man.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
You do belong here. We're glad that you are here. It's a Black Marriage Monday, and Dr. Gloria Morrow is here. She's an author. She is a psychologist to the pastors, psychologist to the stars. I can only imagine what you hear from pastors who probably have a particular kind of pressure to keep their marriages going. Like their divorce and pastor are probably not supposed to go together, I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, we would imagine, and I was married to a pastor that ended in divorce after 24 years. So I know that all marriages can have a lot of strain, but marriages where there are competing entities happening within the marriage with, other responsibilities and systems that can sometimes be draining on marriages, they can all be affected. So, yes, no one is exempt, because if we aren't careful, we live in a system and in a country that in and of itself will strain marital relationships, economics, racial injustice, the traumas of life. All of those things can pull and weigh heavily on marriage and make them sometimes difficult to survive. But yet we're still resilient, and we do honor Black marriage and, look forward to marriages lasting and being role models for young people who sometimes don't believe that marriage is a viable option.
B. Bell Official says, I believe you need to have the uncomfortable conversations early on in a relationship. Be honest and upfront with each other about everything you can think of, and it can save a lot of time and energy. That sounds good. Probably easier said than done, right?
Let me tell you something. I don't even do premarital counseling with people who have a date. Because if they have a date, I don't care what they discover in that counseling, they are going to get married. So I don't even see them.
Wow.
Because I know they're going to go forward with this marriage that I'm really telling you, you all are destined for some trouble here, because you can't have these courageous conversations about the things you need to have conversations about.
So if they've set a wedding date and they've got a venue, she could find out he's an axe murderer. He could find out she's an axe murderer, and they're still going to go for it because they're committed to that plan.
Yeah, they are trying to save face. They want to go ahead and do what they have invited all these people to participate in. And so sometimes they will look at all the red flags. I want to say the red, white, and blue flags. They want to look at all of them and then still forge ahead into a relationship that is destined to end, but they continue to plow ahead. So that's why I don't do it. I wait. I want to talk to people who are considering marriage, who want to be married, but are waiting until they feel like they're ready for it. Those are the people I like to talk to, because then we can look at everything and then you can make an informed decision about your life. Why do we spend so little time on that thing that is going to hopefully last a lifetime for you, and we don't spend that kind of time, to make sure we are with the right person? And do we always know? No. But I do think most times when we look back, we see that we did not invest the right amount of time and invest in the right conversations in order to make a good, healthy decision.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems obvious in retrospect, but before I got married, did I thoroughly talk about our philosophies on money, on child rearing, on sex, on, those are the main things people break up over, right? Child rearing, money, sex, and I think there's one other one I can't think of right now.
Religion, politics.
There you go. Yeah,
you could take all of those, and people do not talk about the way they see the world. But they also fail to know who they are. Do you know, when you know who you are, you know what you're supposed to be doing in the earth, when you know that, it would be ludicrous for you to get with someone who's walking in a complete opposite direction. But if you don't know, sometimes you get dragged into something, or you drag yourself into something because you don't really know. And then when you wake up and learn about yourself and learn your likes, your dislikes, your preferences, your career, your all of that, you're in something that's not going to be conducive to who you are. So I think it's going to be really interesting when I finally do this project that I want to do called Don't Date, Investigate.
Don't date, investigate.
and that's right. And it's not about you investigating the other person so much. You've got to first investigate yourself. Who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? What do I like? What do I love? What do I dislike? What are my non-negotiables? And then be healthy enough to make sure that you are testing all those things out before you say, I do. That's going to make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. But again, we don't always do it. Jerry says a woman who knows herself and didn't talk too much would be a good start. That doesn't sound good, Jerry, but I'm going to assume you don't mean it in a bad way. And definitely you and I are not a match, because I do talk too much. It's my job. But even when I'm not doing my job, I think, but if that's his preference, right, then that's
Right.
fair. He doesn't want to be talking a lot. I mean,
Right.
so I guess the question is, how do we know when we know ourselves, and how do we know when we're just lying to ourselves?
Right, but I do think we know more than we let on that we know about ourselves and our reality. I think we just start operating sometimes in desperation because we do not want to see ourselves as part of this other statistic of being alone or not having a mate, walking through life, without, as the movie said, without taking the little corners off the little sandwiches. It's a line in the movie that she wanted to, and in Brown Sugar, she wants to be able to have the little bridal shower, So we get caught up in that stuff. We watch it on TV, we watch it on social media, and we get caught in the hype. But your life means more than that. You've got to spend the time being honest with yourself. If the gentleman said he does not want to be with a woman who talks too much, then he ought to put that out there. And if he's with someone and she is talking too much in his eyesight, he shouldn't say, well, but she's got these other qualities, and, maybe I can settle for that. Maybe I'll be okay with that, only to hate her and himself once he gets in it because he believes that she's the wrong person for him.
Yeah, and communication, I mean, we hear about this so much. Once you're in that committed relationship or in that marriage, communication becomes like a lifeline. Do you think most of us have the kind of communication skills that qualify us to be married or be in a long-term relationship?
Every single couple I work with struggles in the area of healthy, effective communication. And from the women's perspective, sometimes, they over-communicate, but they may not be communicating effectively. And men sometimes withhold communication. And so they are thought to have a lack of emotional expression because they don't talk about their feelings in the same way women do. So we do communicate differently, and that's okay, but we still need to practice and learn how to have healthy communication because that's one of the that's a huge barrier to a healthy relationship.
I feel like a lot of communication is also listening, and sometimes we don't listen to each other. It's almost like the emotionality makes it harder to listen to the person we say we love.
Dominique, people do not listen because when the other person is talking, you in your head are conjuring up your argument. So you're never going to listen that way. Listening means I'm going to actively listen to my partner, but you have to first see that your partner is not your enemy. Because if your partner in your mind is coming across as your enemy or you perceive your partner to be your enemy, you are preparing for battle. I don't care what they say to you or how they are communicating with you. This is my enemy, and I've got to be prepared for battle. And that will destroy the marriage because that would mean you're going to be fighting every time you're talking about anything. Anytime there's a difference of opinion or, there's an opportunity for somebody to feel like someone's one-upping me, then we're going to be fighting. And so that's what's happening. I'm telling you, these couples I work with, this is one of the major pieces that is interfering their relationship.
Yeah. There's a saying by Iyanla Vanzant that I really like. She says, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy?
Right. And most people would rather be right.
Yeah, but if you really break that down, what did you get out of saying, ha, I was right, as opposed to, you could have been having a great evening because it really wasn't that serious.
We major in the minors and everything. when everything becomes a fight or an issue, it's draining to a relationship. And so pretty soon, and men are notorious for just backing all the way out of that. They can't handle it because everything is a fight. And we want to communicate. We want to talk about every little thing. And I keep telling women, stop trying to talk to your men like you do your girlfriends. They cannot handle that. We can tell our girls anything. We can talk for hours, but men can't handle that. In fact, they will tell you, you're sitting in the room with them and they're watching television, but you want to talk about what happened today. They may actually look at you and say, I'm really trying to watch my show. And then you feel like he's not listening to me. Why are they cutting me off? Well, he's being honest. He really can't do all that multitasking that we can do. We can cook and have a baby on a hip and be talking to the bill collector on the phone, talking to a business person. We can do all of that at the same time, but men are not organized in that way. So it's very frustrating for both in that relationship because she's used to talking and getting her point across, and he's used to kind of putting things in categories and dealing with it in that way. I know it's a generalization, but I see it in my work all the time.
Yeah, Paul, who I happen to know is married, says ego can kill a bond and relationship. And Kwamel says, I love good conversation. I just can't with someone who runs their mouth and doesn't allow someone to sit with what they said prior. Back to the art of listening. We're talking with Dr. Gloria. It's a Black Marriage Monday on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs.
They call it progress, but progress has a price. Land once held in black hands, taken, stolen, erased. Acres paved into highways, fields burned. Homes replaced by parking lots and broken promises. Every deed lost was a dream deferred. We talk about millionaires, but what about the millionaires that never were? The farmers whose soil was seized. The families who watched their inheritance disappear. The wealth that never had a chance to grow because its roots were ripped from the ground. They took the land, but never the legacy, because the soil remembers, and so do we. Every story matters. Our mission is to collect, preserve, and amplify these stories. If this is part of your family's history, visit blacklandlost.org/share your story and help bring us closer to justice.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is connecting you with services and solutions. Domestic violence and family violence is when someone in an intimate or family relationship tries to gain or maintain power and control over another through a wide range of abusive behaviors. Every single act may amount to abuse. Abuse can take on various forms: psychological and emotional, physical and economic, and sexual abuse. The Genesee Center Incorporated is a nationally recognized nonprofit domestic violence prevention and intervention organization, housing women and children from 30 days up to 2 years through emergency and transitional shelters. The Genesee Center also provides support services like mental health counseling, life skills classes, computer training, job referrals, after-school programs for children, field trips, tutoring, and comprehensive direct legal services. If you need help or you'd like to donate or volunteer, call the Genesee Hotline, 1-800-479-7328. That's 1-800-479-7328, or visit genesee.org. Everyone has the right to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The conversation continues right now with Dominic DePrima on First Things First.
And it does. I want to remind you, though, that we are going to be celebrating Jesse Jackson. We, meaning you and me, and Miles and Tavis, and Dr. Nicordelai Corte, and Zoe Williams. It's all of us, Los Angeles. It's time for us to give honor where honor is due. So that's Friday, the 27th, this Friday, at 7 p.m. at the historic First AME Church in South Los Angeles, 2270 Harvard Boulevard. Starts at 7. There will be speakers. There will be, it's really like a West Coast homegoing for the Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. So I hope you'll be there. Doors open early. So just come prepared to be inspired and to share memories, share that love, and the tribute that this man truly deserves. We're talking with Dr. Gloria Morrow this morning on a Black Marriage Monday. Went to the issue of communication because for those already inside that relationship, which could be teetering on the brink of falling apart or could be holding steady after so many years, I find, at least with my friends that seem to be in happy marriages, that they got a lot of stuff out of the way early. Like they kind of set their expectations and their roles in a way very early on in the marriage. Mm-hmm. Do you find that to be helpful or true?
Oh, it's very helpful when you do the work. Marriage does not have to be as burdensome as we kind of heard it being, but I think the more you're able to create agreements early on in the relationship, the easier it's going to be for you to move forward in a healthy relationship.
Yeah, so kind of laying the ground rules up front and making sure that everybody's on board with it before you say I do.
Before you say I do, yes.
And what do you think, there's back and forth in our YouTube comment section on KBLA 1580 about, what that looks like. I think what you're saying is, and correct me if I'm wrong, that men and women have different styles of communication and different needs as far as what that looks like. And so does that mean that we women have to cater to men and men have to cater to women? Or how do we find that common ground with two different outlooks and really psychological needs as far as communicating with each other?
Right. And see, that's why I preface that whole area by saying we've got to be healthy, because if you're not healthy and you're bringing in all this baggage from your trauma, your childhood stuff, all of that past relationships, divorce, disappointments, and you're bringing all that in and you haven't healed properly, it's very difficult to be able to sit with healthy communication and to engage in it. So, you're already seeing the other person as your enemy. You think that this person is out to hurt you. And so you're preparing for battle, and that's what makes communication so difficult. You should be able to have the kind of relationship with your partner that you could really say anything because you have learned about yourself, you've learned some things about them, and we have to make sure that we are using our timing appropriately because, every moment that you want to speak, may not be the right time to have a courageous conversation. You don't know what the person has been through, or, they may be saying, can we not talk about this right now? Can we talk about it later? But you do need to go back and talk about it. But we don't even honor each other's space or set appropriate boundaries with each other. It's just, I need to talk to you right now. I need to, it's like the woman that will go stand at the door and the man saying, I'm leaving. I've got to get air. And she's standing at the door. No, don't leave. We got to finish this conversation.
Yeah.
And it isn't the right time. You've got to give the space.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we only have a minute and a half here, but I feel like, maybe you can give a tiny short answer and we can do a whole show on this later. How do you know when you're healed enough to be in a relationship?
When you can sit with a person and really listen to them without your mind going into 10 million directions. You're saying in your mind, he really doesn't mean that. She doesn't care about me. And you're doing all of that while this person is talking. So you know that you have not healed from your past, which is critical to us having a healthy relationship.
So it's okay. You got it. The narrative has to calm down. Dr. Gloria, tell us how to follow you, find your books, and keep up with your work.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And you can visit my website, drgloriamorrow.com. And I have 2 wonderful new books out, Becoming a Brand New You, Rewrite Your Story, Reclaim Your Power, Become Brand New, and The Things That Make Men Cry, 2nd edition. So please visit my website, and I will write back to you. And I so enjoy spending this time with Miss Dominique DePrima.
Yes, I always get inspired spending time with you, Dr. Gloria, because when we know better, we do better. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. drgloriamorrow.com. You can find me at DePrima Radio, DIPRIMA, and then radio everywhere. Let's keep the conversation going after the show. I'll keep you posted on all the things I be doing. Tavis Smiley's up next. He's got an incredible show on deck for you to start off the week as we get ready to honor the Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. on Friday at the First AME Church. Like my father, the late and great Amiri Baraka, used to say, a person is either free or they're not free. There can be no apprenticeship for freedom. And let's talk about it. We got a lot going on. Tomorrow is Talking Point Tuesday, and I look forward to seeing you here. Until then, be safe, stay informed. One love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Texas Republicans say the University of Texas is skirting the state's DEI ban by renaming its Assistant Dean of Equity Initiatives instead of eliminating the role.
Instead of getting rid of DEI, they're just shuffling people around.
That's State Representative Brian Harrison. Melissa Taylor was reassigned as Vice Provost for Strategic Initiatives, a move GOP lawmakers say still enables DEI-style policies. HUD plans to end housing assistance for mixed immigration status families. The agency says nearly 200,000 tenants have incomplete eligibility records and estimate about